Okay, we're back into it. We've just finished the first appearance of the Elf King, and he was mainly trying to be sweet, and he had this melody that did that, and the harmony kind of just supported him in doing that. We are now looking at what happens after. So just to remind you, we finished with this awesome phrase. And our next character is the kid, who is once again in this higher phrase. Instantly in the piano part here, we hear these octave Bs, which reminds us, oh, this is not the Elf King's. It's this intensity again, and it reminds us of the horse. Oh, we actually are running away from something. We're not in this dreamland. That's the first sign, and then we get the kid going. Me, fa, 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 me, fa, 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 me. My father, do you not hear what the Elf King says? Fa, 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 me, ti, do, di, re, mi. And this melody is almost begging. I love that we enclose it by making our way back to our starting B, our me. But the harmony is also of real interest here. We're back in the key of E minor, you can see that there. And if we do a B against I'll play it a bit softer, better. A B against a G sharp in the bass. I'll put them in the same thing so we can start to look at thirds. This is a tied, is it? We go. So we get this little pickup note. F sharp, D sharp. Here, and we've got that B still in the piano. Analysis, it thinks it's a B7 chord, and if we chuck this B down the octave, and if that was a D sharp, which it should be, and it is in the score, we have this awesome B7 chord, which is bringing us, we know, back to E eventually. Let's see when we do it. So we get this over the kids singing. We get this continues and we hear we get this little chromatic thing, which is also echoed in the kids' accompaniment. And here we have a G sharp against a B, and I say modulation up a third. Let's check that out. Oh, we have these awesome chords here. Let's first notice we have a 1, 6, 4, 5 to a new 1 chord. This is obviously functioning in the new key, and I think I've done that here. Yep, I've said it's in the key of G sharp, and I'm pretty sure I mean minor because it's a lowercase. We've got a 2 diminished, so a 2, 5, 1 basic progression. This is common in jazz and classical music because it's just a predominant, dominant tonic chord. Let's have a play as the kid still freaks out. And this modulates into the father's response to the kid. My father, my father. So we have an A sharp, an E sharp, an E natural, a C sharp. If we make that into a third, put this guy down the octave and get rid of the C sharp, we have a diminished triad, so that's why it's a 2, 6, and I'm calling it a 2 because we're in the key of G sharp now. And just before you go, so how the hell did you figure out we're in the key of G sharp? Sometimes in this analysis, when things didn't make sense, I skipped to, obviously here's a key signature change, but I skipped ahead to look at what the notes were doing so I can try and figure it out. So if you're going, I just don't understand how you got there, sometimes I skipped ahead a few bars just to figure it out. And that's a good thing. If sometimes things are too hard, take a break from that specific thing, move on to a later bit in your piece, and come back, and it will normally come together. So we've got this diminished chord, but in a first inversion. Awesome. And then we get a D sharp. A 1 chord, which is our 1-6-4. I'm just here if you're a bit curious. We hear this also familiar movement, ready? And it says E flat, it means D sharp just because of the letter names. And we get back into this. Awesome rhythm here. Immediately he starts changing the chords around. Oh, let's have a look at the father's melody first. We get Si, Mi, La, La, Mi, Mi, So, Mi, Mi, So. Let me get my notes right, sorry. Mi, La, La, Mi, Mi, So, Fa, 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 So, So, La, Fa, Ve, Mi. Oh, that's what I've done. Sorry, can I go back? Mi, La, La, Mi, Mi, So, Fa, 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 So, So, La, Fa, Re, Mi. And we change key immediately here, and this time we match it into E major. So we go Sol, La, Ti, Do. The chords will help us realize that soon. Just trying to get back to where I need to be. So the father starts minor. Almost immediately turns into major. And we're in E major there. G sharp minor is the third of E major. So we're not really losing too many or changing too many notes. If that was a bit, and this next coming bit is a bit heavy with theory and chords, take a moment to write them out and see what they're doing. Remember, we're normally looking for minor second movement up or fifth movement downwards through the chords. Let's go through the chords now. We get this 1 minor, G sharp minor, then the B goes to B, and it says A flat, but it means G sharp 7. So if we're on a G or a G sharp, go down 5. We go to C, and it's going to be a C sharp because of the key signature. And C is actually our La in our new key. La, Ti, Do. So he's briefly gone to the 3 or the 5 of the 6. Are you ready? Yes. Oh, that's what I wrote there. The 5, 7 of the 6. So if we find the 6 of E, which is C, and then we go up 5, we get the G sharp, and that's kind of what we did, just for a little bit of fun. Then we get this. Let me make sure I've got the right notes. A 6 chord kind of, just a C, but it's in inversion. Is our 2, and we see our 2, 1, 6, 4, 5 again. Such a simple yet effective modulation. Take your time to unpack that. And really the easiest way, let's do it with this chord, is that this looks ugly. If we're going to go, oh, I don't want to analyze that. So let's just spell out the notes we have. We have a D sharp, a B, an A, and a B. If I put that A up the octave, it just looks like we're missing a third here. And that's our B7. And we know the fifth can sometimes come out, which is that F sharp. And we go down 5. Cool. Let's keep going. We're on the next page. The father resolves. The father so far has resolved twice to major, starting in the minor key. It's like he understands, but son, you're just freaking out a bit. Let's calm down. We're in E major. As soon as we get to that low E, we get a D natural. Oh yeah! And we get a walk up in the bass. And we get a change of accompaniment. And we have the Elf King back, and we see that through a few attempts. That's a few things. It's mainly the accompaniment and the melody is given more narrative importance through time given. And once again, we see a bit of a playful melody. The way we're going to analyze these chords is through looking at each beat at one time, or maybe 2 beats at a time. So we've got 3 notes per beat. You can see the beats outlined in the bottom, and we know it's 1-4-4 kind of. And we just have a triplet feel. So we're going to go this low note is an E. I'll go the low E. Oh, it looks like an A with an A in the bass. Let's go to the next half of the chord. It's an E. Looks like he's just arpeggiating the chords. Oh, sorry. And that's all he does for a while. He goes to the 5 of 6 briefly. So the 5 of 6, we're in A major now. 6 is F sharp if you count up. And then the 5 of that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So C sharp, we're looking for a C sharp chord. And that's what we get when we spell out the right hand and the bass. And we immediately go back to... Once again, this Elf King has some sinister motives, which is shown through the harmony. We just do that for 2 bars. I've written it out as a modulation here, but you could just say it's a tonicization, where it just we briefly feel the flavour of F sharp minor, but we don't fully leave A major. Same with here. I've said E here. It's saying it's the 5. We've got B. The makings of a B7 chord. And then we obviously resolve back down to E. We're just going through this 5-1, 5-1, but moving through the keys. An interesting thing is, we actually went... And if that escaped you, let's go through that. It went C sharp to F sharp. Then they just moved the whole structure down. B to E, which is really cool. Very classical. Wrong chord. And this keeps the momentum going by changing those or tonicizing those keys. We continue doing that. Everything stays the same. And then we get back into A major with a 5 chord, which our 5 and A is E. If we spell out those notes, we get, once again, no 5th. And this type of accompaniment is feeling very playful too. It feels like a merry-go-round. It's all over the place. He's trying to be as seductive, as for lack of a better word, or attractive to this young boy as he can. And we finish off with a 5-1 and a 5-1. I'm not going to play them because you're kind of getting the point by now. We'll stop here because this is the second time the kid freaks out. And we've gone through some pretty heavy theory stuff today. If you're struggling, let me know, or just take the time, work out 2 bars at a time. If you did 2 bars a night, you'd eventually get it so everything would start to come together so fast that you'd be able to do 4, 8 bars a night, and this piece wouldn't feel that big. It's all about that slow, deliberate practice of what you're figuring out. Remember, when we have these chords, we're just trying to make thirds. If we have something a bit ugly like this, I'll close new score. If we have something like, let's choose, if we have something where thirds aren't lining up, or you've got some seconds in there, just start rearranging stuff until you get pure thirds. I'll move this up the octave so you can see. We came from this, we came from this type of ugly thing. And if we just rearrange it, we get thirds, and make sure you're measuring the distance between each interval from the root. We had a minor third, perfect fifth, minor seventh. All of that stuff is there. It's just about that deliberate practice. So give it a go, and we'll do some more in class. Thanks, girls.